Hi, welcome back to another episode of DIY Well. Today's episode is going to be a short look at low voltage lighting and why I prefer to purchase my low voltage lights from a company called voltlighting.com as opposed to buying from big box stores. So if you'd like to learn more about the quality and the difference in features and functionality between a big box store fixture and what's provided at voltlighting.com, stick around. So what I have here is a portfolio fixture I purchased from one of the big box stores. This is an aluminum fixture. This has a aluminum stake. This has a fairly short lead wire with a fancy connector that I don't generally prefer. This has a friction locked top. This has an integrated LED light. So what's wrong with this? So to begin with, the finish is not great. This is a kind of fakey bronze, but straight out of the box I see problems with the finish. There are little marks on the surface, etc. What they've presumably done for shipping is the unit, the shaft, has actually been split into two so that this folds up in shipping to save room. So that creates an unnecessary seam throughout the entire unit. Because this is aluminum, this is really the cheapest, most inexpensive material you can have for outdoor lighting. So I mean, it works. I've used them before, but it's not going to take a whole lot of dings, a whole lot of abuse. You know, aluminum is obviously not the strongest metal in the world, and you're not paying for something of substantial quality. This is $25. This is a quick view of the lights from the same line that we've looked at on Lowe's.com, named Portfolio. As you can see, these lights are generally fairly inexpensive. I believe the most expensive one being this well light. This is the light that we have highlighted. What Lowe's also offers, which used to be available locally at my store, which is no longer, is a step up, a prosumer version of the low voltage lights, and this is by Kichler. These lights are still aluminum, but I can tell you that the quality of these lights is a big step up from the portfolio lights. They're much heavier. They come with bulbs, so they're not integrated LEDs. And you'll notice these lights have a much higher price point. Next up is a low voltage path light from voltlighting.com. This is solid brass construction, and you can get this in solid copper, and you can also get it in brass with a black finish. So there's multiple options available to you. So this features a continuous shaft. This features a brass hat or cap with this cap comes off by basically unscrewing this top tip here, and inside of the fixture is basically a glass lighthouse, and you unscrew this top part of the shaft from the top of the lighthouse to basically show you where you put your light bulb. So unlike the other unit, this one does require you to purchase an additional light bulb. Also, if we look at the stake, this is a very beefy, very sturdy plastic ground stake. I would say far superior to the one from Portfolio. And unlike the Portfolio, which gives you kind of a short, maybe it's about a foot and a half lead wire, this is more like 4 feet of lead wire that's pre-stripped from the manufacturer. The fit and finish is honestly flawless. It's got really a beautiful finish to it. I can't really find any marks or any issues. This is what you would expect to see with a quality fixture. This fixture runs about $52 at the time of filming. Here's a side view of the two fixtures side by side. Front being the Portfolio and the rear being the voltlighting.com. The voltlighting.com is clearly a longer light fixture. It also happens to have a significantly wider diameter than the Portfolio light. As we're going up the shaft of the Portfolio, take a look at basically how very basic and unadorned this particular light fixture is in comparison to the voltlighting.com light. Here we can see with the voltlighting.com, it's got a brushed, beautiful faux bronze finish, and especially at the top of the light fixture with the detailing they have around the lighthouse, it's really a huge upgrade. So let's look at the voltlighting.com site and the options for the light we've just looked at. This is the classic path light. As I noted earlier, you can choose 3 finishes currently. This is a brass light with a bronze finish, a solid copper light, and a bronze light with a black finish. For me, if I was starting from scratch, I might consider the copper path light because the finish will naturally age in patina and there's nothing artificial about it. Something to think about. But I want to show you how customizable these lights are. If we go through the configurator for this light, your first option is choosing how much of a lead wire you want to have. 4 foot is what we currently use, but you see you can choose a 25-foot lead wire for only $6 more. This is a great option. Now we have our bulb options. As I'd mentioned previously, I don't purchase my bulbs from Volt.com. You're obviously free to, but I don't. If we look at our mounting options, you'll notice that it comes with the large stake. This is the one that we have reviewed, but they also have upgrades where you can get a brass insert. Here's a surface mount or a tree mount, so you could use this to put some light attached to a tree or to a deck. Notice that a ground stake light, and then they've got options for solid brass stakes and a longer stake with a brass insert. So it's really good to have these options depending on your application. They also have a hammer stake cover, and I believe this is just to dress up the top of the stake in case you have material around the edge that basically does not cover the base of the stake. And you have options to extend the light much higher into the air. Finally, you even have some decorative arms you can add. As you can see, voltlighting.com has a lot of really good options. I strongly suggest you going through their catalog of lights on their website and seeing which best fits your application. So let's talk about the fixtures that have an LED emitter versus the fixtures that require a bulb. So let me talk about all the problems with LED emitters. 1, when you buy the light, whatever that light is spec'd for, be it 2 watts, 3 watts, 5 watts with 2700 Kelvin or 4700 Kelvin, whatever temperature it is, that's what you've got. There's no ability to customize or change it. You're stuck with it. If you have a light fixture, an outdoor light fixture that accepts a bulb, you can change how bright you want to have that bulb and the color that you want to have that bulb. The next problem with the integrated LED emitters are that when those emitters fail, as a general rule, the fixture is garbage. You're going to have to go get a new one to replace it. Hopefully, a new one exists that matches the same style as the one that went away, because if it doesn't, you're going to either be replacing all the other lights to make the aesthetics work, or you're going to be dealing with less lights. You don't have that problem with a low voltage landscape light that has a plug. Essentially, the fixture is basically a beautiful brass fixture with 2 wires. There's not much that can go wrong with it other than the bulb, and the bulb is serviceable. So for me, that's where I want to go. Volt Lighting has a significant selection of different lights, and I just wanted to show you, to me, this is one of the more prominent ones that I absolutely love. This thing is 10 pounds, over 10 pounds actually, and the top of this shroud basically unscrews, and which gives you the base to put in the plug. So this is something you would sit kind of at an entrance, or if you wanted to have really stand out path lighting, this would be a great choice. So Volt Lighting also makes integrated LED light fixtures. When you start getting into major floodlights that require 30, 40, 50 watts, you can't get that with the LED bulb, not one that plugs and plays. So you have to go to one that has basically the built-in LED emitters. In this case, there's a large array behind this frosted glass that will provide the light necessary to basically flood an entire side of a building. This unit was on sale for $70 and it's quite a good deal. So let's talk about the stellar customer service of voltlighting.com. When I've had a problem with their lights, it's been with the integrated LED emitter lights, like the floodlight I just showed you. When I've had issues with these lights, I've simply called the company. They've issued me on the same day a UPS return label. I ship those units off, and this has happened both times. It's crazy. Like literally as soon as it shows that it's arrived in the warehouse, it seems like maybe within a half an hour, I get a notice that they're drop shipping me a replacement. So they really do stand by their products, and it's great. You know, I don't pay for shipping the return nor shipping the replacement back. So it's really, really great. So I wanted to focus in on the bulb pricing. This is the current options as of time of recording for the bulbs for the path light that we have highlighted. And if we focus on this one 4-watt G4 LED bipin with a 2700 Kelvin bulb, this is $16.97 for this light bulb. If I look for an equivalent bulb on Amazon, now when I say equivalent, I'm not meaning equivalent in quality. I can't really determine that. However, you see that I can get a G4 LED bipin bulb. I can get 10 of them for $21. So from my perspective, I choose to buy the inexpensive bulbs on Amazon because quite honestly, it's just easier to save money and replace them when they go bad. And for the record, I purchased pretty much all my bulbs from Amazon. And I think over the last 4 or 5 years, I may have replaced 2 bulbs in 2 units. So honestly, these things work pretty well. So I hope you've learned something today. I hope you've seen, that you can buy products that are far better than what you get off the shelf for, quite honestly, a reasonable price. Have any questions or comments, concerns? Leave them in the box down below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.